Okay, Netflix's earnings are out, guys. Let's dive into them. So I'm sure you all saw by now the stock is taking a haircut after the bell. We closed, for reference, at about $87.25. And right now, as I'm making this video at about 7:30, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, we're down at $83 a share. We're down just about 5%, give or take a little bit. So Netflix is down, and the headline numbers, let's just dive right into it, guys. We'll break down the actual report as well. We're going to take our time here, read through it. So let me show you this. Netflix's earnings came in, let's see, EPS 56 cents. That beat the 55 cents expected, and revenue also beat. Where is it here, guys? I know guidance isn't looking the best. We'll talk about that for Q1. It looks like here sales for Q4, though, $12.05 billion versus $11.96 billion expected. So they double beat for Q4. But again, Q1 guidance is a bit soft. But if you guys listened to the conference call and you read through the report, you saw that things are going to accelerate in the second half of the year. So yes, Q1 guidance is a little soft, but full year 26 guidance is very good, I would say. So for Q1 guidance, they're guiding for GAAP EPS of 76 cents versus the 81 cents expected or from the analysts, right? And for sales, 12.15 bill versus 12.18 billion expected from analysts. So it's not like the guidance is well above what Netflix is giving us for Q1, but it is a little bit higher. So yes, they came in a little short for Q1 guidance. And if you're looking here on the charts, obviously, we're continuing the downtrend here, and the stock's now down almost 40% from all-time highs. And another thing you're going to notice, wait a second, we're right at that 82, 83 level. Wasn't I saying that, for Netflix here on Netflix stock? I've been pounding the table, telling you guys 82, 83, that's where we're probably going to go. $80, low 80s, and lo and behold, here we are. That's why I waited to really build my position until here, the low 80s. And if we go high 70s, yeah, I'm really going to buy more. So I initiated a position on Friday. I bought a sliver, an initial position at $88, right? Now I'm really looking to throw in some serious dollars, right? As we're starting to fall here in the low 80s. But I'm not going to unleash fully yet in case we do break under $82, $83, which if you guys look here on the 3-year chart, that was the support from back in April last year, also from January of last year. So let's say we do break that. Sure, there's a chance we do go $70, $75. So I do want to keep some room to add Netflix at that level or at those levels if it gets there. Big if. We'll see. But on the charts, clearly, we're at those levels from a year ago. Very critical spot. So keep that in mind. And again, if we take that out, $80 a share, we could be trickling down to 70, 75-ish on the lower end. But keep in mind, on the 3-year chart, we're already oversold. The RSI is super oversold already on the 3-year chart. Keep that in mind. So how much lower could we go, especially after earnings that I would say were pretty good? Yeah, I mean, Q1 guidance was a little soft, but like I said, things are going to accelerate in the back half of the year. So let me actually just pull this up right now. And by the way, if you guys find value, of course, hit the like button, make sure to subscribe, do all of that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I appreciate you all for tuning in. So here we have their shareholder letter, right? Let me zoom in here. It's not the, most beautiful presentation, but who cares, right? The information is what's important here. So for the full year, let's dive into these numbers now. For the full year, Netflix delivered $45.2 billion of revenue, up 16% year over year, or 17% on an FX neutral basis, an operating margin of 29.5%, and ad revenue rose more than 2.5 times to over $1.5 billion. And in Q4, revenue increased 18% year over year, and Netflix crossed the 325 million paid memberships milestone during the quarter. Operating income rose 30% year over year, which is strong. And engagement remains healthy, which is key. In the second half of 2025, view hours increased 2% year over year, driven by a 9% rise in viewing of branded originals. And Netflix has a lot of content, guys, rolling out here in 2026, and obviously, they have a lot of content under their belt and everything going on now with Warner Brothers. That acquisition that they're making, which they amended the deal, it's all cash now. I think it's $27.75 per WBD share, all cash. Before, I think it was like 70 billion cash. I forget what the terms were before, but now it's all cash, the offer, which we'll talk more about that here in a second. And we can see here in 2026, Netflix is focused on improving their core business with an increasing variety and quality of series and films, enhancing their product experience, and further growing their ads business. And building out newer initiatives like live with events including the World Baseball Classic in Japan, which is huge, and live in general. I love the route that Netflix is taking there. And in general, they're expanding into more content categories like video podcasts and scaling their cloud-first game strategy. That's interesting. Of course, they're working to close their acquisition of Warner Brothers, sustaining healthy growth. They forecast revenue for 2026, listen to this, of $50.7 to $51.7 billion, roughly 12 to 14% growth year over year, with ad revenue expected to roughly double and an operating margin of 31.5%. So clearly, guys, things are looking pretty good. Yes, growth is going to slow down a little bit in 2026 from 2025 if we're looking at the top line, but at the end of the day, it's still pretty solid. And I'm excited again about Warner Brothers here. They actually paused their buybacks. They paused their buybacks in efforts to, I guess, fund this this deal. They need as much capital as possible, and I'm a fan of that. Yeah, I mean, pausing buybacks, I guess, sucks, but if you look at it from the angle like, okay, they're going to use this cash to fund the deal, I like that. I like that. That's smart in my opinion. And we can see here the Q1 forecast still has revenue growing about 15% year over year. So Q1 revenue, they're forecasting, like we mentioned, $12.15 billion. You guys see here at the top right, that's 15% growth year over year. Operating income, we're looking at about $3.9 billion. Operating margin, 32%. Net income, 3.2, roughly $3.3 billion with diluted EPS at 76 cents. So let's scroll down a little bit more here and see what's going on. I mean, look, we're not going to go over everything here. This document is unbelievably long, which I do recommend you guys go read through it, especially if you're an investor in Netflix, if you want to buy more stock. This is the way you really learn about the business. Sure, you can go on Twitter or watch a couple of videos and think you know everything, right? But to really dive deep in, you got to look at the 10Ks, the 10Qs, the annual reports, keep an eye on the quarterly reports, read through them, right? Understand what's going on. And this is what that is. So Q4 revenue grew 18%, like we talked about. Operating income in Q4 was $3 billion. That was up 30% year over year. And if we come down here a little bit, they actually met or exceeded all of their full year 2025 financial objectives with their strong Q4 results. So that's very impressive out of Netflix, right? And let's come down here a little bit more. They're targeting an operating margin in 2026. I think I mentioned that already, 31.5%, and they have over 325 million paid memberships. They're now serving an audience approaching 1 billion people globally. Think about that. And their aim is to delight and satisfy all of them by providing an amazing variety of series, films, games, blah, blah, blah. So they stick around longer. Retention. Retention is key, right, in this business. So if we come down here, this growth was driven by viewing of our originals, or Netflix's originals, which was up 9% year over year in the second half of 2025, due in part to Netflix's strong Q4 branded slate, including, of course, the returning series Stranger Things. Yes, you guys know Stranger Things, right? The massive final season of Stranger Things came out, and that came in at 120 million views. That's insane. We had Nobody Wants This season 2, which I'm not too familiar with. Selling Sunset, I am familiar with. That came out season 9. Anime series Record of Ragnarok, yeah, from Japan. I'm not an anime guy, so I don't know anything about that, but I know how big anime is. Guys. Culinary Class from Korea, Emily in Paris. I know my wife watches that. That came out. New shows from around the world. The Beast in Me from the U.S., The Asset from Denmark, right? All these big names, right? The Perfect Neighbor. In terms of documentaries, I'm more of a documentary guy. Yeah, the Diddy documentary, Sean Combs, The Reckoning, 54 million views, I guess. So that documentary is crushing it, which I'm not surprised. I mean, I watched that in one sitting pretty much. Very good documentary, I must say, guys. So let's see, a broad slate of films. Did I see any of these? Wake Up, Dead Man, and Knives Out Mystery, House of Dynamite, Train, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I haven't really been watching too many movies. I'm actually watching The Sopranos right now, funny enough. I'm on season 4. That's what I've been watching personally, guys. I don't know about you. And I'm pumped about Netflix, buying out, obviously, WBD if it goes through, blah, blah, blah. They're going to own The Sopranos. We're talking IP, baby. We're talking IP here. So let's come down a little bit more. Their overall engagement growth in the second half of 2025, however, was partially offset by a year-over-year decline in viewing of non-branded view hours. This decrease primarily reflected a lower volume of licensed second-run content across most regions following an elevated period of licensing during 2023 and 2024 as a result of the WGA strike, which you all probably remember, which temporarily shut down new production. So they weren't making as many originals. They licensed a lot more films at that time, so that's why we're seeing that year-over-year decline, or I guess for that particular time period, decline year over year. Either way, their goal is to continue to grow engagement, and they'll do this first and foremost by improving their core series and film offering, including both originals and second run titles, right? So yeah, that's the thing Netflix does very well. Their originals, but of course they also have, films they license. And if we come down here, we do have some new movies. The Rip, I saw that number 1 on Netflix. I didn't see it yet, but it's there with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, some big names right now. Peaky Blinders, obviously. We started a new show, actually, my wife and I, His and Hers. That's pretty good. New show on Netflix right now. Let's see here. A bunch of stuff, guys. A bunch of stuff. And again, I don't want to go too much into this or too deep into this because we're going to be in here all day, but just know it's all about, Netflix is all about retention. Obviously, this business is all about eyeballs, all about retention. It's very competitive, and I think Netflix is at the top of the game. Look, I really do. I think Netflix, YouTube, they're the top 2 dogs. It's not even close. And when Netflix gets this WBD deal, I think they're going to get it. For sure, in my opinion, it's a lock. I think, in my eyes, it only solidifies them as the king of streaming even more. It's not even close. So I'm excited, man, and I think they're gonna continue to compete. I think they're gonna continue to innovate. It's key, and here comes the competition. They talk all about competition, the risks, Warner Brothers acquisition. Here we have a lot more. Here goes. here it goes, $27.75 per share. What did I say? Now they're now providing an all-cash transaction valued at $27.75, and this revised transaction structure expedites the timeline. This is key. This is key. I'm glad I saw this because I mentioned this in my short earlier, but let me say it here. This revised transaction, this structure expedites the timeline to a WBD shareholder vote and provides greater certainty of value that will be delivered at closing. Guys, this is key. And Netflix believes their proposed purchase of Warner Brothers will allow them to accelerate their business strategy, and together they see two main areas of opportunity. First, Warner Brothers library development and IP will allow Netflix to provide an even broader and high-quality selection for content for members. And second, the addition of HBO Max will allow Netflix to offer more personalized and flexible subscription options, better meeting the diverse preferences of the global audience, right? Netflix and Warner Bros. Are highly complementary businesses, and together they'll be able to offer more opportunities to creators and strengthen the entire entertainment industry. Additionally, they're looking to expand production capacity in the United States and abroad and grow investment in original content over the long term. Of course, that'll bring jobs and help sustain a healthy entertainment industry. So that's pretty much it, guys. We can go all day. We can go all day about Netflix, the report. But overall, I would say it was a solid report. And the market is selling the stock off, first of all, because, again, Q1 guidance, a little soft. Fine, it was. But overall, the entire market's selling off. So Netflix kind of caught a bit of bad luck in terms of reporting on a day where, Trump is threatening more tariffs on these European nations. Things are heating up. Uncertainty is rising. Netflix kind of got unlucky reporting today. So I'm sure the fact that the entire market dumped, people are a bit uneasy right now with their stocks. That is also fueling the fire to the downside here on Netflix. But for me, guys, long term, it is a no-brainer. I think long term, this stock does very well. I think we'll be back over $100. I can't tell you when, but there's no doubt in my mind we'll be well over $100 a share at some point again in the not so far future. So I'm looking to add, and really this is the time where I'm looking to beef the heck out of my position, beef it up, baby, because I only nibbled a little bit at $88. I didn't buy much at all. I just initiated the position in case Netflix ripped, but that's before the whole European news, Trump, the tariffs, the escalation, so I kind of got a little unlucky there too, but it is what it is. This is part of the game, and long term, whether I bought at 88 or 83, it's not going to mean much of a difference. You know what I mean? It's really not, in my opinion. So what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I rambled for about 20 minutes here. Overall, I would say good report. Not the best Q1 guidance. Rough day for stocks, which is fueling the fire here. But I think Netflix will rebound in due time once things settle down. It's not going to be downtrending forever. It's not one of those stocks that never recovers. I don't think Netflix is one of those. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts. Hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe. Join the Patreon for my portfolio updates, my private Discord that's linked down below, also pinned in the comments, or go to stocksurfest.com/Patreon. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video.